أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Concerning what they are disputing, concerning the great announcement, about which they cannot agree, indeed they will soon come to know. Again, indeed they will soon come to know. Have we not made the earth as a wide expanse, and the mountains as pegs, and created you mates, and made your sleep for rest, and made the night as a covering, and made the day as a means of subsistence, and built over you the seven firmaments, and placed a light of splendor? And do we not send down from the clouds water in abundance, that we may produce with it grains and vegetables, and gardens of luxurious growth? Indeed, the day of sorting out is a thing appointed, the day the trumpet will be sounded, and you will come forth in crowds, and the heavens will be opened as if they were doors, and the mountains will vanish as if they were a mirage. Truly hell is a place of ambush, for the transgressors a place of destination. They will dwell therein for ages. Nothing cool will they taste therein, nor any drink, except a boiling fluid, a fluid dark, murky, intensely cold, a fitting reward, because they feared not any account for their deeds, and they treated our signs as false. All things have we preserved on record. So taste this, for no increase will we grant you, except in punishment. Indeed, for the righteous there will be a fulfillment of their desires, gardens enclosed and grapevines, companions of equal age, and a cup full. No vanity will they hear therein, nor lies. Reward from your Lord, a gift sufficient. From the guardian evolver of the heavens and the earth, and all between, God, the merciful benefactor, none will have power to argue with him. The day the Spirit and the angels will stand forth in ranks. None will speak except those permitted by God, the merciful benefactor, and he will say what is true. That day will be the true reality. Therefore, whoever wills, let him anticipate the return to his Lord. Indeed, we have warned you of a penalty near, the day when humanity will see all that which their hands have sent forth, and the unbelievers will say, "Oh my God, I wish that I were mere dust." Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. By those who tear it out with violence, by those who gently draw it out, and by those who glide along, then press forward as in a race, and plan to do it. One day all that can be in commotion will be in violent commotion, followed by repeated commotions. Hearts that day will be in agitation. Their eyes will be cast down. They say, "What? Will we indeed be returned to our former state? What? When we have become decayed bones?" They say, "It would in that case be a return with loss, but indeed it will be but a single cry, when behold, they will be in the awakening." Has the story of Moses reached you? Behold, Your Lord called to him in the sacred valley of Tuwa, "Go to Pharaoh, for he has indeed transgressed all bounds, and say to him, do you want to be purified, and that I guide you to your Lord so you can fear him?" Then Moses showed him the great sign, but he rejected it and did not follow. Further, he turned his back, striving hard. Then he gathered them and made a proclamation, saying, "I am your Lord Most High." But God punished him and made an example of him in the hereafter and in the present life. Indeed, in this is an instructive warning for whoever is conscious of God. What? Are you more difficult to create or the heaven? God has constructed it, and on high has he raised its canopy, and he has given it order and perfection. Its night does he endow with darkness, and its splendor does he bring out. And the earth, moreover, has he extended. He draws out from there its moisture and its pasture. And the mountains has he firmly fixed, for use and convenience for you and your livestock. Therefore, when there comes the great overwhelming event, the day when humanity will remember all that they strove for, and hellfire will be placed in full view for all to see, then for those who transgressed all bounds and had preferred the life of the present, the abode will be hellfire. And for those who had entertained the fear of standing before their Lord, and have restrained their souls from lower desires, their abode will be the garden. They ask you about the hour. When will its appointed time be? Are you concerned with the declaration of it? With your Lord is the finale. You are only a warner for those who fear it. The day they see it, it will be as if they had stayed but a single evening, or until the following morn. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. He frowned and turned away, because there came to him the blind man. But how could you know whether he might be purified, or that he might receive advice, and the teaching might profit him? As for one who regards himself as self-sufficient, to him you attend, though it is no blame on you if he does not grow. But as to him who came to you striving earnestly, and with consciousness, of him were you unmindful. By no means should this be so, for it is indeed a message of instruction, so whoever wills may ponder it, in books held in honor, exalted and purified, by the hands of scribes, honorable, pious, and just. Woe to humanity! What has made them reject God? From what has He created them? From a zygote He has created him, and then molds them in due proportions. Then He makes his path smooth for him. Then He causes him to die, and He puts him in his grave. Then, when it is His will, He will raise him up. By no means has he fulfilled what God has asked of him. Then let the human being look at his food, and that we pour out water in abundance, and we split the earth into pieces, and produce therein corn, grapes and nutritious plants, olives and dates, and enclosed gardens, dense with lofty trees, and fruits and fodder, for use and convenience for you and your livestock. Then when there comes the deafening noise, the day one will flee from his own brother, and from his mother and his father, and from his wife and children. Each one of them that day will have enough concern to make him indifferent to the others. Some faces that day will be beaming, laughing, rejoicing, and other faces that day will be dust-stained. Darkness will cover them. Such will be the rejectors of God, the immoral. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. When the sun is folded up, when the stars fall, losing their luster, when the mountains vanish, when the she-camels 10 months with young are left unattended, when the wild creatures are herded together, when the oceans are made to overflow, when the souls are sorted out, when the female infant buried alive is asked for what crime she was killed, when the scrolls are laid open, when the world on high is unveiled, when the blazing fire is kindled to a fierce blaze, and when the garden is brought near, then will each soul know what it has put forward. So indeed I call to witness the planets that recede, go straight or hide, and the night as it disappears, and the dawn as it breathes away the darkness. Indeed, it is the word of an honorable messenger, endued with power, with ranks before the Lord of the throne, with authority there, and faithful to his trust. And your companion is not one possessed, and without doubt he saw him on the clear horizon. He neither grudgingly withholds knowledge of the unknown, nor is it the word of Satan. So where are you going? Indeed, it is no less than a message for all the systems of knowledge, for whomever among you wills to go straight. But you will not will, except as God wills, the guardian evolver of all of the systems of knowledge. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. When the universe is ripped apart, when the stars are scattered, when the oceans are made to gush forth, and when the graves are turned upside down, then each soul will know what it has sent forward and what it has kept behind. O human being, what has seduced you from your guardian evolver, the most honorable? He who created you, fashioned you in correct proportion, and made you balanced in whatever form he wills. He puts you together. No, You reject right and judgment. But indeed over you are appointed angels to protect you, kind and honorable, writing. They know all that you do. As for the righteous, they will be in bliss. As for the wicked, they will be in the fire, which they will enter on the day of accountability, and they will not be able to stay away from it. And what will explain to you what the day of accountability is? Again, what will explain to you what the day of accountability is? The day when no soul will have power to do anything for another, for the decision that day will be with God. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Shame on those who are unethical, those who, when they have to receive an amount from others, demand the full amount. But when they have to give an amount to others, give less than due. Do they not think that they will be called to account on a mighty day, a day when all of humanity will stand before the Lord of all of the worlds? No, surely the record of the corrupt is in Sijin. And what will explain to you what Sijin is? It is a register inscribed. Woe that day to those who deny it, those who deny the day of accountability. And none deny it except every transgressor beyond bounds. Those who are corrupt. When our signs are rehearsed to him, he says, tales of the ancients, by no means, but on their hearts is the stain of that which they do. Indeed, from their Lord that day, they will be veiled. Further, they will enter the fire of hell. Further, it will be said to them, this is that which you rejected as false. No, indeed, the record of the righteous is in illiteracy. And what will explain to you what illiteracy is? It is a register inscribed, to which those nearest bear witness. Truly the righteous will be in bliss. From our thrones they observe. You will recognize in their faces the beaming brightness of bliss. Their thirst will be quenched with natural juice, sealed. The seal of it will be musk. And for this let those who aspire have aspirations. With it will be a mixture of tasneem, a spring from which those nearest to God will drink. Those in sin who used to laugh at those who believed, and whenever they passed by them, used to wink at each other. And when they returned to their people, they would return joking. And whenever they saw them, they would say, behold, these are indeed people astray. But they had not been sent as keepers over them. But on this day, the believers will laugh at the unbelievers. On thrones will they observe. Will the unbelievers not have been paid back for what they did? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. When the universe is ripped apart, and it listens to its guardian evolver as it must, and when the earth is flattened out and casts up what is within it and becomes empty, and listens to its Lord as it must, O human beings, Indeed, you are toiling on towards your Lord, ever toiling, because you will meet him. Then he who is given his record in his right hand, soon his account will be taken by an easy reckoning, and he will turn to his people rejoicing. But he who is given his record behind his back, soon he will cry for perdition, and he will enter the blazing fire. Indeed, he went about among his people rejoicing. Indeed, he thought that he would not have to return to us. No, no, for his Lord was watchful over him. So I call to witness the ruddy glow of sunset. The night end is homing, and the moon in its fullness. You will surely travel from stage to stage. What then is the matter with them that they do not believe? And when the Quran is read to them, they do not fall prostrate, but indeed the unbelievers reject it. But God has full knowledge of what they hide, so announce to them a terrible penalty, except to those who believe and do righteous deeds. For them is a reward that will never fail. With God's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful Redeemer. By the sky displaying the constellations, by the promised day, by the one who witnesses, and the subject of the witness. Woe to the makers of the pit, the fire supplied with fuel. Behold, they sat over against the fire, and they witnessed all that they were doing against the believers. And they treated them wrongfully for no other reason that they believed in God, the Almighty, the praiseworthy, him to whom belongs the control of the heavens and the earth. And God is witness to all things. Those who persecute or draw into temptation the believers, men and women, and do not turn in repentance, will have the penalty of hell. They will have the penalty of the burning fire. For those who believe and do righteous deeds will be gardens with rivers flowing through them. That is the great salvation. Truly strong is the grip of your Lord. It is he who originates and repeats, and he is the oft forgiving, full of loving kindness, Lord of the throne of glory, doer of all that he intends. Has the story reached you of the forces of Pharaoh and the Thamud? And yet the unbelievers persist in rejecting, but God encompasses them from behind. No, this is a glorious Quran on materials preserved. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. By the galaxy and the night visitant. And what will explain to you what the night visitant is? It is the star of piercing brightness. There is no soul that does not have a protector over it. Now let the human being think about from what he is created. He is created from a drop emitted, proceeding from between the backbone and the ribs. Surely God is able to bring him back. The day that all things secret will be tested. They will have no power and no helper by the firmament which returns, and by the earth which cracks open. Behold, this is the word that is decisive. It is not a thing for entertainment. As for them, they are plotting a scheme, but I am devising a plan. Therefore grant respite to the unbelievers. Give respite to them for a while.